Hello, my name is Douglas Pearson. I'm an alcoholic. I've been sober 14 years. I'm from Akron, Ohio, and yeah, gotta, gotta. I love recovery because recovery has given me a life. My childhood wasn't a childhood. I had to be basically a grown man because my mom had her addiction, so I had to provide for myself and my sisters. So there's a lot of unsavory things that I've done, when I was a kid and young adult as well. But so. But
Yeah.
yeah, in school, I didn't complete school. I had fun. I went to school for fun, not to learn anything. But I was a good student. But until my experimentation took me to a different level, then school took a back seat. About 12 years old, I used to do work at this store, and I used to steal alcohol. And me and my friends, we used to get lit back then. But in high school, that's when my my addiction really took off. Cause I'm alcoholic, but there's other facets to my story that got me here a lot quicker. But alcohol was my main thing. All the addicts I grew up with, we went to prison. That was the only treatment we were offered. So,
Wow.
and that's why it's because I work in the recovery field now, so I can see the disparity, but at the same token, it's not about me. Somebody else is trying to get sober, so and there's help now, for every race or whatever you ascribe to be today. There's help for you if you want it. When I did find recovery, I was in a recovery house, and I relapsed within the first 30 days. And back then, this was in 2007. There were no relapse plan. It was zero tolerance, and it was right then where the administration showed me some love, and they let me stay. And it was right then where I got serious, because it was the people that didn't know me, they just knew of me, and they gave me a chance. And that was my spiritual experience that brought me to my spiritual awakening, that there's something better for me. So
So let's talk about, I guess, the last like 2 weeks.
I tried to commit suicide. I shot myself. I smoked what I consider enough crack to kill 5 people in an hour by myself, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna blow up my heart. It didn't work. And so when I shot myself, I was on. They were putting a catheter in my chest, and it was like God said, not yet.
Wow.
And then I went to the Salvation Army in Cleveland. Back then it was a 9-month program. I made it 6. I tried. I didn't take no suggestions. I was just there trying to, just to get a bed, get out
Yeah.
the street, get a break so I can restart again. And I met a young lady. I did what shouldn't get in a relationship the first year, and I did anyway. And about 2 months later, I was trying to get back in,
Oh wow.
and they said no, and they sent me down here to Akron. So I went to the Salvation Army in Akron, and that's where my recovery started. I'm director of a men's recovery housing program, and one of the things that, families bring their loved ones. I like, well, once he come in, I'm gonna suggest you hands off, because if I would have had a safety net, I wouldn't have got sober. Somebody I can fall back on. Hey, let me get $20, $30, whatever. Every time I ask for it, that would have kept me out there. So, and that's one of the things, I had to be desperate enough for myself, because when I came in, I didn't have no help. It was I burnt every bridge that I thought I had, or even that could have been formed early on. So it was all about me, and yeah.
And you had to be, pretty like hopeless at the same time, trying to kill yourself like that. That you get there though, unfortunately. But that's sometimes necessary to.
But
You know.
unfortunately, that's also sometimes they still don't, because I know people that have overdosed 20 times and they still continue to use. And that's, it's heartbreaking, because why are you trying to kill yourself? There's so much, there's, It's not easy, but it's better than what it used to be.
Exactly.
You know, as long as I keep my thinking in line, and to surround myself with people that tell me about myself with don't pull no punches, because when I was out there I didn't pull no punches. The first couple of months I went to more meetings. I went to 7 meetings a week. I sat up front, and then maybe by the second month I got my first sponsor, and then I started book work.
So were you in a treatment center the entire time?
No,
So did you
I was
move to?
I was in a recovery house.
Okay, okay.
I got a sponsor. No, when I was in the treatment center, I had a sponsor, but it was a sponsor in name. I didn't utilize my sponsor, and so when I got out, and that brief interruption happened, because it had I didn't have a program, so there wasn't a relapse.
Right.
It was just an interruption.
Right.
So when I got sober, no more relapses. And so I got a sponsor, started the book work, and yeah.
And you've been sober ever since.
Yes.
Very cool. So let's talk about the last 14 years.
Well, the first gift I got was the gift of understanding that society and self-imposed limitations, if I keep those labels on me, I will always be held back. So I had to break those off, and then I was able to move forward. The recovery home that I was living in, I stayed there 2 years, and that's I'm still so far the longest staying resident so far.
Wow.
Because I watch people, they come in, they leave, and they blow it all up first 2 weeks. So I stayed. I was serious about what I wanted to do, and so I was a volunteer there for 9 years. I was part of the house management team, and then right before COVID started, they hired me as director of the men's program.
Wow.
So that's one of the gifts, and like just knowing that anything that happened is not to tear me down, no matter what it is. It's an opportunity for me to grow. As long as I don't let it fester or turn into a resentment or anything like that, because anything I do, I run by my sponsor. If I can't get in touch with my sponsor, I got a couple of guys that got some long-term recovery that tell me, hey man, that's not a good thought for you, or that's not a good action. So some of the gifts I was able to make some amends that were I thought I would never be able to make, and that really just took my recovery on the whole. That changed everything that I was doing. That made me more accountable, being more honest. I had to learn that being bored is really peace, because I'm not out there trying to seek. I'm not doing anything. I'm okay being still and quiet, and I wouldn't call it meditating. It's just being still, and I go through my day, what I got to do, because first thing in the morning I'm up. In the evening I take a quick half an hour just to recharge. I don't take naps, but just to sit and recharge and think about what I've done so far and what I have to do this evening. Then I pray at night, and that's one of the biggest things for me, learning to pray.
Yeah.
So
So along that note, so what do you do today, 14 years later, to maintain your sobriety?
I go to at least 4 meetings a week.
Good.
I volunteer whenever I can. I I work with the guys in the recovery house. That's challenge. That's a whole nother beast, because it's hard when you see this potential. Just like I always go back to when I was out there using. People like, come on, man, you such a good dude. There's so much, and then knowing that, man, there's so much you can do, and they continue to make them bad choices, bad decisions, because nobody's a bad person. Well, no, there's a few bad people out there, but for most of us, we're just making bad decisions based on the little information that we have.
I agree with that,
yeah.
100%. So what have you learned from your addiction?
Addiction can take you down some very, very dark roads, and you don't have no choice in it once you start. Only choice I had was really to get serious about not living that way, because it's not what your friends say that it is. You know what I mean? It's not what your family said it is. Because a lot of people grow up in families that drink and do whatever, and they think it's okay, that it's normal, and that was the big thing for me, learning that hey, that's not how normal people live, even though it's not what you see on TV. In the middle is better, because yeah, because what you see on TV is a fantasy.
Right.
Get in the middle.
Right.
Just like in the middle of your recovery, whatever you do, AA, NA, CA, Overeaters Anonymous, whatever. As long as you're in the middle doing what the book says, you'll be fine.
So, for somebody out there that's struggling, could you share some words of hope that maybe got you through those first couple months?
Give yourself a chance. Let somebody in your life that would teach you how to be you. Be the person that you were born to be, not the person you aspire to be, because we all want to be this or that, gangster or whatever. That's not the way to go. Give yourself a break. Learn to love yourself, because that's loving yourself is much better than somebody loving you, because people don't know how to love, they know how to use. Love yourself, so you take that power away from them. Say give it 90 days. If you don't like it, we'll refund your misery, and then you get back at it. But you give yourself a good 90 days of being truly open, honest, and willing, and let somebody help you, and watch the results.
Absolutely. Words to live by. All right, Doug. Well, thank you so much for coming out and taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, that was amazing, and I'm sure it's going to help somebody. So thank you very, very much for doing your part. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. That was pretty awesome.
That was fun.